Yeah, now I've got three videos, three videos of tonight's action. I don't know if I should splice them together or just release them.
Yeah, I don't know what you got, so can't really guide you there.
Okay, so we have that. That does appear to be a marathon background. I think that's the cover
World
for.
War IV, yeah.
I think that's the
Looks like
cover of
Marathon.
like Marathon 2 or something.
Trip, is that Marathon? Basically Marathon.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, this game might have the fusion pistol. Or did you play Marathon, Walter?
Yeah, no, I played Pathways into Darkness and Marathon
Okay, yeah, I think
a
the
bit, but I was very young, like very, very young. So I remember not much.
okay, I don't have a guy. Oh, my my guy spawned not where the camera was.
Oop. Am I not supposed to pick up all the guns? Oh, looks like I am. Yeah, sweet. Just gonna pick up
Kryptos,
all these guns.
if you see the video, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Grabbing all the guns at the start.
Yeah, these are definitely the marathon sounds.
Player eliminated.
And I think Jaku was doing a marathon playthrough, but I think it was Marathon 1, which, yeah, I don't really. Oh, I found a rocket launcher.
But not with the Myth 2 engine.
No,
Or
like
was
he
it
was
that?
actually playing the game,
Yeah.
Marathon. So I don't know where you guys. I don't know how big this map is, but I'm struggling to find. Oh wait,
Do you see anything that looks like it is? So I'm in like S2, E6, SE. That's where I am. Come and find me.
oh shoot! Why did I do that?
Casualty. Player
You
eliminated.
won, bitch. That's funny. Oh, there's a super soaker thing? I kind of want to get that.
There appears to be a 4 staff. I believe they're called the
Player
4, right?
eliminated.
Staff that those bugs used to shoot. Those little.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, there's some staffs. I want to say at E1.
Player eliminated.
I don't know what they do.
Oh, geez, this map must be. Well, no, I don't understand what the E and S's are then. Because it's not map directions.
I don't.
Think it
The
can be.
auto camera is really focusing on the fire for some reason. I have to do manual. Sorry if I spoke over you.
No, that was
5 minutes
fine.
remaining. Player eliminated.
Like, getting less and less of a chance to even get points.
I mean, are you not able to find anybody?
I haven't seen a single person yet. Oh, there's one. But he is the hill. Oh.
Player
Oh,
eliminated.
someone just got exploded.
I think I almost won.
I think the nasty one, he had some pretty nasty rockets. He was exploding some people.
I'll still run around like a little dancing person in my tight spandex. My name is Ken. I enjoy waffles. You better be guiding me towards victory, Kryptos, otherwise I will hate you. I went towards the fire, I didn't see anything. Or anyone.
I think he wants you guys to go mid.
He's just trying to guide them. Maybe he's guiding them towards the fire.
Well, I mean, the fire is in several different places now, so saying the fire means a whole, at least 2 or 3 different areas. My auto camera's freaking out. It really loves the fire, man.
Oh, really?
That's all it's focusing on. Just imagine if this was, what, 1999 or something, and the fire lag, like,
Oh, it would have
crashed everybody's
not
computer.
been possible.
Oh, people. Nice. Combat.
The trees explode into fire?
I
That's
mean,
funny.
we've been talking about that for at least like 5 minutes.
I'm not looking at the chat.
No,
A whole lot. Yeah.
Player eliminated.
Nice, nice, nice.
Well, once I got to combat, I did okay. That's fine.
Okay, so
Funny map.
I
think it's kind of fun, Crypt.
I think if I put that video online, it might get banned because I believe that was "For Whom the Bell Tolls" by Metallica, and I might get.
I didn't hear any music.
Oh, you didn't? Maybe I'm just hearing things. I don't know, but I don't want to get copyright strikes.
Did it start with music? I didn't hear any. Maybe yeah, I don't know. Okay. If it did, then yes, don't
it
post
should
it.
have been "For Whom the Bell Tolls" off the Ride the Lightning album, but
I just didn't hear any music, so it could have been a
or maybe
different thing.
it's upstairs. I don't know, man. I have some pretty loud people upstairs. It could be them. I don't know.
Crip says, yeah, no, for sure it did play, but he doesn't think it would be a strike, but whether or not that was a thrilling thing to post anyways. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's not the one taking the risks here. I don't want.
That's I'd say. Just
I don't want a bunch of
really
lawyers knocking on my door.
Yeah. Burke had made a funny comment when he had joined. There's not enough guns on this map.
Casualty. Player eliminated. Ball captured.
Yeah, this auto camera really sucks. I can't. All right, I'll just follow
Ball
the nasty
captured.
Wait, how can you do that? You can set it to follow a player?
one. No, I mean I'm just.
Oh,
gonna-
you're just gonna okay. Manually do it. I was like, that seems like a wonderful feature. How have I not heard of
The
that?
nasty one just disappeared. I don't know what happened to it.
Ball captured. Ball contested. Ball captured. Ball
Oh,
contested.
that's straight out of Marathon.
Ball
I love that.
Player
The
eliminated.
scream?
Yeah. What were they called? Bobs or something?
Yeah, I think so. Or something. Was that Bob's?
Yeah, I think it was Bobs.
Pretty sure it was Bob's.
Yeah, and you melt them and they give that scream. And then I think it was in Marathon 2, there were the like the evil Bobs and they blew up on you. And I remember there was always one guy who was like, "I love you, man," and he would just run up to you and explode.
Yes!
5 minutes remaining.
Man, that's like a complete walk down memory lane.
Yeah, because I remember the first
Completely
time that
forgot
happened,
about
that scared the crap out of me. I was like,
Captured.
dude, this guy's supposed to be on my team, and then he just exploded.
Ball captured. Player eliminated. Ball captured. Ball captured. Player eliminated. Ball contested. Ball captured.
I don't like how we're dealing with traditional weapons here. We have all this alien technology. Oh, someone just got punched.
At the end of the day, all it comes down to is a good punch.
Yep, exactly. But I was
Oh,
saying,
it's alien technology. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. You were saying what?
yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Have you ever seen the like YouTube clip? It must be from something like maybe like a commentary on a movie or something, but it's Ben Affleck talking about Armageddon, and he's basically like he just rips the movie apart plot wise. That's kind of funny, where he kind of just says like, well, yeah, obviously it's much easier to like train a bunch of oil well diggers to go to take out the satellite than to train a bunch of astronauts to become oil diggers. You know,
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. I no
it's
idea.
kind of yeah. If you look it up, it's worthwhile. It's just like a funny, like very sarcastic view of the movie Armageddon.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't even know if I've seen that movie. When
The
did it come out?
premise is that there's basically an asteroid coming to destroy Earth, and so Bruce Willis has to like be enlisted and enlist his top tier oil oil well company or whatever associates to basically like drill into the center of the asteroid that's going to destroy Earth and put a nuke in it so that it doesn't destroy Earth.
Yeah, when did that come out?
Like 90 around the time of Myth, so like 98.
Yeah, no idea, man.
Rip, do you remember that at all?
Player eliminated. Casualty. Player eliminated.
The nasty one's getting on my nerves.
Player eliminated.
Had you ever seen the commentary Crip of Ben Affleck kind of like ripping it apart plot wise? It'll be more topical for you, I think, than OD.
Yeah, I guess I should watch the movie first before I watch the commentary.
I thought Armageddon was like one of those movies that people just saw or something. You know, like there's like those movies like The Godfather. Not that I would put it up there on that level, but I just thought it was like a movie everyone had heard of or had seen. But yeah, it was like the Aerosmith song was released along with it. Like, I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, baby. And I don't want to miss a thing. You know that song?
I mean, I've heard of Aerosmith, yeah. So, yeah.
But that song, like, was packaged with the movie in some way.
Okay. I mean, I guess, I mean, I don't know their... I remember they released a song called Jaded, I think. Did it come out around then? I don't know. I mean,
I don't think it was Jaded, but yeah, I think Jaded was earlier.
I mean, I know Jaded is a good Operation Ivy song, but that's a whole different genre of music. But yeah, Aerosmith. I mean, I know their greatest hits up until about, I don't know, the mid '90s or something. So I guess I just missed them because I know Walk This Way, Dream On, Love in an Elevator, all that sort of stuff. I mean, what is that, the '80s or something?
Has to be early 90s, yeah. No, I mean, or late 80s, maybe, but, Aerosmith, I think early 90s, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I caught all that stuff because actually my mom really liked Aerosmith, but yeah, pretty much Armageddon. I mean, I now that's the one with Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I don't think I saw it, but I kind of know what you're talking about.
Ball captured.
In '98, I don't even know if I was living in
Ball
America.
captured.
If it was an American movie, right? Or I assume it was a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like a very big one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I might have been living in Japan at the time. Not really sure anymore. My years are so messed up now. So.
I didn't know you lived abroad for a while. Well, I guess I kind of did, but
Yeah, I was a foreign exchange student on several occasions. And then
Jon God, welcome.
Hello.
Oh, is Jon God here? Nice.
Jon God is here.
Is that a thing to celebrate?
Yeah.
Well,
I
it
mean,
depends. Have you heard of the movie Armageddon?
I've heard of it.
Well, then yeah, then it's a thing to celebrate that you're here. That is completely out of context, so I'm sorry.
That's all good.
Yeah, I'm just guessing that this game has been dragging on for so long that you were gonna get on voice chat to tell us what the heck was going on and for us to hurry up.
Ball captured.
No,
Ball contested.
I just was chatting with somebody else for a while, and they
It finally
had to
ended.
go. So, yep. So I'm like, all right, fuck it.
Well, nice. Well, welcome.
Domo.
But yeah, Jon God, I'm trying to sell these guys on Heroes. Do you have anything else that you want to say? I basically told them about the customizations, and there's like close to 100 maps. I'm probably going to be putting this on YouTube sometime later whenever I get around to it. So is there anything that you would like to tell the world about World War II Heroes, both its current form and hopefully the completed form whenever that gets done?
Yes. So, basically, it's for anybody that ever enjoyed World War II Recon. That's basically it. It should be exactly what you remember, but so much more. So, it has all of the classic maps that, both with Recon Titans, a lot of the Ozone's maps and what you would find on the was it Myth 2 Chimera and Myth 2 Worlds and such. But on top of that, it has a ton of new maps that I made, as well as third-party maps that I adapted to World War II. And I added a lot of quality of life improvements without touching the core gameplay for the most part. So I think if anything, if any plugin for Myth aged pretty well, I would say it's Recon. The fact that we're still talking about and playing Recon, I think it was 1999, so that many years later, makes me think we don't really need to mess with that so much. So, stuff like, I think everybody can agree, captaining a team in Recon sucks. It's start, you're like, oh fuck, okay, you get this, and okay, all right, now let me actually play the game. So one of the things I went to fix was how about the game itself just takes care of that. Fuck it. I don't think that it's a negative making it so you don't have to worry about that. And in addition,
don't mess with what people are used to. It's kind of what Krypt just said. His Krypt is on, but his mic isn't working. But
yeah, so the other thing was I think one of the things with Titans in general, why it didn't age as well, was that they added so much to it, and it's kind of, you can't get that sort of pure Recon experience out of Titans, for better or for worse. I think that it helped give it its own identity, but I don't think that its own identity worked out as well, because, a lot of people are not as familiar with Titans, obviously. As much as it's a pretty classic thing, there's still people who'll play it and they'll be like, what's this map? Really? You somehow missed this map? But I think that one of the key things was when I originally started going, okay, well, I have Recon done, and with some of these new improved quality of life things, I'm like, well, what else could I do with it? And I went, okay, well, what if we were really selective about the kind of stuff that we took from Titans? So rather than just forcing it on you, okay, here now you have ammo belts and everything. It was when you're hosting, you can choose which things you want to toggle on and off. Do you want ammo belts? Do you want tanks? Do you want all of the above? You can do that. And that was kind of the accidental, I think, fun of Heroes, is just mixing around about, I think I have over 100 now modifiers you can mix around, so you can have one-hit kills, so you can have all soldiers are replaced by tanks, or the ground deforms for any explosion, or all the bullets are replaced with grenades, so you have to time and bank shot grenades off. But at the same time, you just turn all that off and you have classic Recon gameplay on maybe maps that never had it before, or ways to do it. And I also was just having fun with, this was the first like plugin I really dove in. It was like, okay, I'm gonna just make the maps from the ground up, and I took a lot of like just sitting there looking at Recon and films and stuff, figure out, okay, how does this tick, and how can I kind of try and capture lightning in a bottle a second time, and I built a lot of the maps that I built were built with a lot of care and thought on how Recon was designed, at least for the first number of maps. A lot of that afterwards was like, okay, well, if this works in Recon, it didn't work in another map, is there a way to change that to make it actually work? Or is it just not going to work? And so some of the maps, I think, like Blood in the Streets, which works well with mercenaries but doesn't work well with Recon gameplay, was kind of me trying to push the envelope of what was possible. But again, I wanted it to be like, if you just want that Recon experience on a lot of new content, because I think so many people just have Recon or Recon Deluxe, and so you go, okay, well, you want to play a different map? Well, I don't want to download anything. So I wanted to make a plugin that had all of the above, and you could, just play the classic stuff or switch maps without having to worry about everybody getting kicked out. Anyway, that's a really long-winded thing.
Yeah, I was hoping you would go into more detail. I wish your explanation wasn't so brief,
Yeah.
But yeah, we got Team Voicechat right here.
For sure.
I don't know
New units
why
received.
I'm not getting any. Okay, there we go. Juggernaut. I wonder if you kill it, like it explodes when it dies.
I do not know.
Game
Well,
on.
why don't you go over to their base and die and explode on them?
So let's see, what is its special is Juggernaut Missile. Okay. Another thing was I would love to try, we have a bunch of people playing shoot 'em up plugins. I would love to try some of the Deadfall multiplayer stuff, because before, when I made Deadfall, the primary focus was the co-op, because I think that was what people really enjoyed the most out of it, and I focused on that a lot prior to the original release back in 2009. And I kind of left multiplayer of like, okay, well, people know how to use these units, just I'll just have them just use the same units I used in co-op basically, and just in multiplayer, and like, that's fine, whatever. But for after playing in Zookfest last year, was it? I feel like I'm too old to remember this. I kind of went, okay, well, what if I redesigned all of the versus units so that they kind of adhere to a lot of the same rules that Recon did? Okay. I do not know how to use this thing. It does explode when it dies, just a little bit.
Well, I don't have any kind of ammo, and I'm surrounded by Charlie. Oh God, I'm surrounded by Charlie. Yeah, I think I got exploded.
What was really interesting was going over maps to decide what actually made the cut for Heroes, because there was a lot of maps that I went and I kind of made a dream list of like, here's all the maps I would love to have. And then I kind of slowly, as I went, okay, I would see what people played and I would see what worked, and like then move up from there and be like, okay, well, if this is what works, then this one is obviously not going to get any playtime, kind of a thing. It's funny, like stuff like the Northlands just kind of was something I tossed in, and that was one of the better ones to play. There's other ones like Riot, Rocket Riot.
Gold Riot, Rock'em Sock'em.
I don't think it was that one, but there was another one that looked like it would have been great for World War II, and it turned out that it was absolutely terrible, so nobody played it. And it was kind of the funny thing of just like, going map by map, and okay, well, this looks like it could be cool. The sight lines look not bad, but then until you actually have somebody playing it, it's hard to kind of really know.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why, I think we need to get more Heroes games going so that we can find which maps work and which maps don't work, and we
Oh
could
yeah.
we could get that going. But hopefully, people will start to download, because I think one of the major barriers is just the hefty file
Yeah.
size. But if people,
I go ahead.
yeah, I mean, if people sort of get over that, I think what you're attempting to provide is sort of the all-in-one World War II experience, and it's sort of the end game, the final World War II plugin, if you will, that will ever need to be downloaded, and so it might be worth the hard disk space, especially considering, I think a typical computer these days has either 500 gigabytes or a terabyte or 2 terabytes or whatever.
Absolutely.
So 400 megabytes isn't even that big anymore. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and there's also fun stuff that I added in Heroes, especially like I don't know if anybody noticed, but I kind of modified
Captured.
2 game types,
Team
which
eliminated.
generally are not played that often, which was Stampede and Hunting, which hunting in World War II generally is not very interesting. You just go, okay, well, don't shoot each other because we have to kill these deer, and not exactly the most exciting game type. And I thought, this is kind of a waste. So I went, how much, how could I flip this on its head? And I went, obviously I have, my legacy and Deadfall and stuff. And I went, well, let me try and do a PvE mode for hunting. And so I actually made this whole mode where, scoring wise is just like hunting, but there's a number of World War II units that run around the map, and they can roughly do anything a player can do, and they will initially, they're all kind of, all but one is initially like neutral, and so they won't attack you unless you attack them. The second you attack them, they will aggro to you. But at the longer time goes on, the more that one unit, it just continues to spread until all of them are will attack players, and they'll try and stop dodge as well as use RPGs, grenades. They'll melee you if you get close and such. And so it's kind of an interesting, obviously it's not really the most competitive mode, but especially if you're playing like and just want to get practice, it's actually not a bad way. Like obviously not as smart as human players. I could probably tweak with it for years and never have it be anywhere near as good as the people that play it. So, I put in the minimum amount of time to make something that was enjoyable, but not like, not the be-all, end-all game type. And then for Stampede, it's kind of reverse capture the flag, where you have each S2 team has 6 units, and you basically have to rush them into the opponent's base
Units
and
detached.
deliver the flag to give score
Units
points.
detached. Units detached.
Yeah, I mean that sounds
Units
pretty good.
detached.
I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, I guess I'll give my teammates.
Onto your comment real quick, John. It's like
Yeah.
not as smart as human players, but it depends upon the player for sure. And I think a lot of your
Yeah.
AI is pretty good.
Game.
So I think you've been able to trick a lot of people along the years, but it depends upon what your threshold is.
For sure, I've definitely, like working on maps, I will just play against the AI to just get a feel for okay, like how do these hills work? Because it's easy to look at a hill and it's harder to know if you walk behind this hill, is the bullet going to actually travel over and hit you in the head? Because you get used to it with Recon. It's all the same with all of the zook
Right.
and stuff. You know all the hills because you played it so long. You know where a zook is going to work and not. But then when you go to a new map, you're like, oh, okay. I got to relearn this. So it's the
This
same
terrain, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of modifying hill heights and stuff like that after playing with the bots. So.
Casualty.
I just blow up my own guy,
Ball captured.
Yeah.
and I think I just.
But now I'm punching you, I think. A ton. I'm just going to chase you with those guys for a while.
Who all is in the voice chat right now? Since I'm in game and I don't want to tab out for a second.
Oh. I'm Walter, and then it's OD,
Hello,
and then and then Crip is on, but he's only listenable, so he's chatting through in-game
Yeah.
chat. And then Odie is hosting. And I think
sure.
that's everyone.
I would absolutely host, but just recently the router at my shared router at my house decided to just die.
Well, Crip is hosting the game, but Odie's hosting the chat.
Oh, for sure.
Because he is going to post it to his own nice YouTube channel. Little plug for that. Overdose. YouTube.com. No.
Oh my
But
god.
no, yeah. Basically, we're recording the voice chat, and the Kryptos gets to remain subtly here.
Yeah, I actually was on I visit game forums and other servers and stuff like that, and somebody was talking about old games that they were interested in. Oh, I missed these games, and there was people bringing up Myth too, and I said, did you know that in 2022 there's a World War II tournament going on, and a bunch of people asked, like, is there anywhere I can stream it? Like, can I see this happening? And I was like,
It's a huge thing. Like, actually, more of like the generation or two, even maybe at this point under us, is like they would rather watch a game being played than play it themselves.
Well, I mean, it's also, some people that played it back in the day are like, okay, well, I don't have a setup to play this right now, or I moved to console, or I just play games on my phone, or I don't want to spend the time getting this working right now. And, like, that's actually not a bad group of people to watch play the game, because, like, maybe they'll go, hey, well, I now kind of feel like playing, and I feel nostalgic. I might get it. It's like, that's great. Do that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, that was Overdose M2 on YouTube.
Hey, there we go.
That's where we streamed the. Yeah, you actually didn't play in any of those games, Jon God. Your absence.
Yeah,
was
I
noted.
was. Oh my god, I was over the last few months. It's been kind of nuts at my. That's. I was kind of had a crazy time last few months and haven't had much free time. And every time I had free time, it was not when anybody was playing. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I got to be there in spirit, but I didn't actually. I got to shove people that I haven't played Myth in years towards you guys' videos and stuff, and be like, okay. Well. Earlier tonight, I was chatting with some old like Vista Cartel era people, and I posted just a screenshot of the beginning of one of the S2 games, being like, "It's 2022, and we're playing 12-player Recon S2."
Yeah, you love to see.
Not the worst timeline. And again, I would love at some point to try out, see what you guys think of the Deadfall versus. There's a lot of fun stuff that went back and forth. Like, okay, the auto squad system was actually taken from an idea I had for Deadfall that I was in progress on working on. I was like, well, still nobody likes nobody likes to captain teams.
5 minutes remaining.
Okay, bottom missiles here.
Oh my god. Yeah. I also have some fun classic first-person shooter game types and Deadfall's multiplayer, like capture the flag, where you have to actually bring the flag back to your base to score a point, or assault, where you have to bring a bomb into their base and arm it to get a point.
So I mean, you're talking.
That's
about,
really
like,
cool, and that's
Halo.
actually what I would. Oh, sorry. That seems like something that I would really like, even for Rag. Like the idea of like it's actual capture the flag, where you have to, like, you have to grab it and bring it back.
I've definitely thought of that for regular. The problem ends up being is that by the time you get to their flag, generally, you end up in the situation where they're generally decimated, and you.
That's true.
Like, you're just going to spend the rest of the match just walking backwards, because it's like, you could. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like, especially if you're playing with multiple teams, it kind of becomes this awkward thing of like, okay, I killed this team, or they have like one unit off somewhere. I have their flag. I have to now walk back to my flag, and then I can continue fighting. And so, like with regular, there's a little bit more barriers in the way to making the game type work. Where in Deadhold, you can just turn on deathmatch, and it will automatically know what you're talking about, and like if you die, it will respawn you at a random spawn location around the map. It'll make sure there's no enemies around before it respawns you, and then spawn you back in.
Cool.
So,
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, so for like if they're in your base and you capture the flag and they take your flag, you'll spawn farther away from your base because they are in your, that's a danger zone basically. But it means that if you spawn halfway through the map, so you can kind of try and cut them off now or whatever.
You've written all the scripting, yeah, basically to make it facilitative, so that makes sense.
I thought about doing it for World War II, but there was a lot of like weird things because like there's no pickups in Deadfall's multiplayer. It's class based, so what you see is what you get, kind of a thing, more closer to AVA. But so like if I did that kind of a thing for World War II, first of all, it would have been a lot more scripting for all the maps I had. Second of all, it was just like, well, I don't know how many people are actually going to use this, and oh wow, this is Purdy.
Did you just kill Summer?
Yes.
I'd love to see what Kryptos thinks of some of the maps I made for Heroes, since he's definitely a World War II vet.
John, what was the more recent game that you and I played together, like maybe 3 weeks ago or a month ago? But it wasn't like, it was like Doom, but it was better. I liked it more, but it wasn't Doom. What was it?
It might have been Deadfall. I'm not sure. What
Could have
I need a
been.
little bit more information.
Well, it was like you could switch the units again with like I, but
yeah, so that was probably Deadfall.
yeah, it just felt like each unit type had more substance. It felt like.
Yeah, again, a lot of it was really inspired by the design pathos that Recon may have accidentally had. It's funny talking to, because a number of years back I was in contact with Santa's Head, and we kind of just talked about a few things. He was looking to see if he still had the original 3D models for the sprites. He apparently still did, but they were in a computer locked up in a garage somewhere halfway across the states, so it wasn't something he could easily get at. But unfortunately, he passed away before he had a chance to do that, and I never really got to thank him for all of the feedback he gave. But we talked about some of the balances of what he was kind of going for. He was really, he seemed to really like the team game types way more than like elimination and stuff like that, which I think is pretty obvious if you've played Titans. You can see that it's way more based on larger game types.
Player eliminated.
But one thing I always talked about was the flame grenade being so temperamental and not really worth the hassle to pick up. It works better as just a mine on the ground that you can blow up with another grenade than actually something worth picking up for the most part.
That's cool to hear. Yeah, that makes sense too.
Flag contested.
Yeah,
of course, I've seen players be able to utilize it in
it's not
fun and new ways, but
I think that the thing is that like you can use it, but I would say the vast majority of situations, it's actually more worth it to still have access to being able to pick up something else or to be able to throw grenades, like normal grenades, because you can throw normal grenades way farther, and generally they're more useful. Like
that makes
normal
a lot of
grenades
sense.
are a way to push people, like, okay, don't go this way because I'm going to throw a grenade that way, essentially. Where a flame grenade is basically, it has such small radius and such small damage, you basically have to land dead on, where, the RPG and the normal grenade have much larger radius, so you can actually damage or push people around with them much better. So like in the sandbox of World War II, I always felt like it was such a missed opportunity. Whoa.
What happened there?
I think we have
I
a
guess-
newbie host.
Oh,
Units
Kryptos is hosting
detected.
again.
Units detected.
What a
Yeah,
noob.
he shouldn't host on maps he's not familiar with.
Or Kryp.
Yeah. Thanks for the positive feedback on Deadfall's multiplayer. I think you're one of the few people that I've tried it. I keep telling people, hey, will you test it out? Because like,
I
it's
love
very,
it. I actually really think it's great. I would love to play it more.
yeah,
Much
and
better than Doom for sure.
yeah. Another thing that I really focused on with Deadfall's multiplayer in general was making sure every class looked different. Like at a glance, you can tell exactly what type of kind of enemy you're dealing with, and what strategy you would need to kind of.
Sorry.
Oh,
Anyway, sorry.
behind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, like I feel like that I personally had the problem with oh god, with god, that grenade just almost got. That was my problem a lot with Axis versus Allies, when you look at somebody and like everybody looks almost the same but just a slightly different shade, and like my brain, oh,
Game.
That was a good shot.
aha, nice shot.
Rip.
I'm not sure who
Very,
shot.
very nice. I'm glad you told me to detach to you.
But so yeah, I wanted to make sure that it didn't fall into that thing of like, well, at a glance, you have to wait until you're actually fighting them to really know for sure what you're fighting, which is the feeling I had with AVA, because it would be time between when I played it, and then I would go back and be like, oh crap, I don't know any of these classes. Like, what am I doing?
New units.
And every time I'd
received.
feel like a complete schnoz, just like, I apparently am the idiot here. But obviously, I feel like right now it's kind of a first final draft for yeah, no, it's an oxymoron, but a kind of early final draft for what I want it to look like. But
A
I would
fine draft is kind of how sometimes we put it. It's not like a
Yeah.
final. It's like it's a fine draft. Like
Well, it's like
it's
when you
fine
put
tuned. It's not like a
final.
rough draft, but it's not like a polish. It's a fine. You know, it's
Well,
fine.
I mean, if we're going to use
Fine-tuned.
development terms, it's an alpha.
Yeah, sure. That makes more sense. Yeah.
All of the pieces are there, but it's not polished or balanced. Oh, boy. You know, one thing that I will say, if you had never talked to him, Santa's Head was the nicest dude. So, shout out to him.
I never even got into World War II until of late, but I've only heard the best things about him.
Yeah, so I
Team
one of
eliminated.
my last jobs,
Game
third to
over.
last job, I was working for Fizz. I don't know if you remember him. Fizz the Cartel. Worked on Jin. Ended up getting hired to work on Myth 3 and stuff. He brought Santa's Head in, as well as oh god, was it Iggy? I think as well. Yeah, that sounds right. So Iggy popped and Santa's Head, and they all worked on Myth 3 together and had a terrible experience
units
doing
received.
that because yeah, that was rough.
As
Anyway,
a result of the management of the team, or of a result of working
basically,
together, like they butted
no,
heads.
they work together very well. Basically, what
Okay.
happened was the person, the project director, Scott Campbell, was like, okay, he originally was approached by Bungie back when they were making Myth 1 to work on a Myth 1 expansion pack, but it was before Myth 1 had even come out with success. So he kind of approached it like, okay, well, it's unproven people making this game, like whatever, you know. Kind of gave them a kind of basic expansion pack pitch without realizing, oh, this game is actually a big deal. And so later he saw, many years later after Myth 2 came out, and he played Myth 1 and 2 and stuff. He saw that Take-Two were like kind of looking around for shopping a Myth 3 to potentially interested parties, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not losing my chance this time," and he like made a giant 900-page Bible of how he would do a Myth 3, and I guess that impressed Take-Two enough to go, "Okay, well we'll give you the thing," but then they gave him, they're like, "All right, here's the project and here's your budget," and he's like, "Oh, well this is enough to fund like 9 months budget or something." So they kind of had to like cut scope like insanely to actually get anything shipped. And so like everybody was just crunching like crazy, of just like working insane hours, just like, okay, let's get this to at least just run so we can ship it. Because like, I don't know if you ever worked in, on a game, but 9 months to make a game is like borderline impossible. Unless nothing goes wrong. That is the one. But even then, you're still like running balance wise, like you're running by this, like, head of the train, lay train tracks. It's like, so they had not great stories to tell, but they all became really good friends after that. And so I heard lots of stories of Santa's Head through Fish, who worked with him for many years, and they still were best friends for decades after the fact or whatever. So,
where does the typical bottleneck happen in game development? I know that's kind of probably a hard question to answer.
I think it happens
it can be
differently.
Teams or, it could be...
There are so many different ways, and it has to do with about 1 billion factors, and
so it's kind of that's why I thought it was kind of a stupid question, but maybe you would have insight.
It depends on what you're making. So if you're making something that already exists, like an expansion pack to an already existing game, that's an easier sell than hey, I'm making this brand new idea, or I'm making a sequel to something big. Because when you're making an expansion pack, you can go, okay, this works. We know this works. Let's just kind of add to that, and we can scope backwards to essentially just have more of what people already like. But the second you start bringing in new things, it seems so easy to get it right from the outside. Like when you're watching, like, why the heck is this game made this way? This is so stupid. And generally, anybody that's working on the game also knows that exact same thing. And it's really like, it's really like you're sitting there going, okay, well, we can't nail it being fun. We keep changing stuff to try and make it fun, and it's not fun, and time is passing, and we need to be making progress, and you end up like in these weird things. Because like, especially on larger games, because you have a team of people that's like a boat, and you gotta go, okay, well, this is the direction we have to go, and so everybody's just running in that direction, trying to pull this whole thing together. And if you realize, oh wait, this isn't the right direction, it's like, all right, time to turn this boat around. And so there's a lot of things, and just the complexities of any game. Like you could go, like I was reading about No Man's Sky, and they made their engine, they plopped a physics thing into it, and they started running around, and they went like, we can't figure out why the heck just on certain things it just seems to completely break. Stuff starts flying around like crazy with physics and stuff. And it turned out that most physics engines don't really account for the way physics work on a globe, because most games don't need to think about that. So they end up having to like redo the whole physics thing to understand how,
So why were they running it on like a globe structure?
Well,
that makes sense.
No Man's Sky, the whole thing is that
I haven't played it, so that's
it's you can just go to any star, any planet, and land and stuff. They're all actually 3D things you can land on and stuff.
Oh, I see.
And so they needed a way that, hey, if you're going to land on a planet, like, it needs to be... Oh. So, nice shot.
That was nice. OD, I think.
That was a nasty one.
No, it wasn't OD. Who is that? Is it... Nasty. Oh, that... Sorry. I thought you were saying the shot was a nasty one, but it wasn't.
Oh, it was, but...
Yeah.
So kind of roping back to my point of being like, you never know what the heck is going to just suddenly become the biggest problem and suddenly have everything stop and okay, we have to do this. Oh, nice shot.
Come on, go,
How's it gonna go?
Ah, you got me.
Oh,
Team eliminated.
I didn't want to bet all of my
bet the farm.
coins on Summer, but it worked.
Yeah, I mean, for us when we were working on Deadhold, which was, oh my gosh, that was so fun. It's a shame that not more people got a chance to play it, because by the end of it, it basically felt like you would want a Myth sequel to feel like, gameplay wise.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but we kind of prior to even me joining the
New
team,
units
like they had
received.
kind of set an idea of what exactly they were going for. And again, even with a small team, there's that thing of like, okay, we need to change course, but it was like, it's too late to change course kind of a thing. So they kind of had the idea of taking different things from a few different things, like the way that what was it, like League of Legends did things, stuff like that. So they had different things from MOBAs and other things added on top of the things. Like before you started a match, you could kind of adjust what your special abilities were as a player. So you'd be like, okay, well, I have a thing that can give me a temporary boost of strength to my melee units or whatever within a AoE and such. And you would pick up in co-op, you would pick up items that would be like, okay, well, you dud less now while you have this equipped and stuff like that. And so it was kind of an interesting RPG thing, but because of that, it was kind of set on a basically the need for a server so that people wouldn't be cheating it in online games. And that ended up being really in some ways the undoing of the ending of the project, because while the project itself ran into a lot of problems at the end, totally out of any of our controls, a lot of just like, right around when we were going to release, suddenly, what was it?
Good shot, kid.
There was it Tooth and Nail, I think it was, some other RTS took off, and at the same time, was it Total War or something ended up releasing a thing and stuff. So we were like the little indie thing that nobody cared about that hit at the same time as all of these big name things that did really well. And it was like, okay, well, despite everybody that playing it liking it, there's not enough people actually playing it.
5 minutes.
And it's a shame
What-
that.
Oh, go ahead. No, keep going.
Oh, it's just a shame that more people didn't get a chance to play it, because like I said, we got really good feedback on it. It was hard to catch the spotlight with in this gaming climate, really, I guess. But
What do
yeah,
you think, like, really caused the death of Myth 3?
The budget, 100%.
The what?
The budget, 100%.
Hmm.
If they
So you
had
think
it,
did it have a chance to be?
No. There's no way it would have. Like, at best, I feel like we could have gotten basically a more stable version of what it is, because it's like.
And even then, it wasn't like that compelling.
Yeah, well,
like
again,
certainly not as compelling.
Team eliminated.
There was a thing of like,
Game over.
8 months and such, and so like during a lot of the production, they basically made the game in Myth 2 using Fear and Loathing, and then had to just transplant what they had made into the new version of the engine for Myth 3, because they just didn't have an engine ready for the majority of the time. So like, that's the level of like,
Wow.
we just need to get something working. Like, I have it ship at all.
Do something,
Because
yeah.
that's not enough time to come up with a story, iterate on it, make it good. It's not enough time to come up with any new gameplay things, iterate on, make them good.
It's like, we have a product that we need you to sell, and the product isn't even developed.
Basically.
We've already sold the product. You just have to make it, and you have to make it by this deadline.
Yeah. So with the
That sucks.
yeah, there was no way it was going to. I think that had Fizz and Santa's Head and Iggy not been a part of it, it would have been horribly worse. I think we actually dodged a bullet on how bad it could have been. where instead it's just kind of mediocre with a lot of technical issues, but it could have been just a horrible, cautionary tale of how to make the worst game ever made. Because, like, from my understanding, most of the team when they got there had no idea what they were doing in terms of, like, oh, they never even heard of Myth.
Casual. Player eliminated. Player eliminated.
Well, and certainly it felt like the models and everything that were developed with Myth 3 were decent, It felt like it could have been something, but it just...
Well, when you have, a decent... when you have... basically, I guess one of the things that Take-Two wanted to do was basically to modernize the look of it, essentially. So that was obviously something that they had to kind of push. Oh. It's underestimated that wait time. But yeah, I think that if they had twice the budget, we would have gotten an all right game.
5 minutes remaining.
Like, it's easy to look at Myth 2 and be like, all right, well, that was made in about a year. This one was made in about a year as well, but it was also made with a very specific team, probably a much higher budget, and people specifically talented in what they were doing. Where Myth 3, they brought in people a few months into the project that really helped steer it to a completion. But, when you have that little amount of time, less amount of time than it took to make Myth 1 or 2, and, you bring in people sometime into that, it's like the amount of actual time they had to put out a game is ridiculously small. Like, they had to cut off months of testing at the end of the project because they just didn't have the money or time to do it.
Well, it felt like, and this is, coming from like a 12-year-old's perspective of where things maybe were at when Myth 2 was kind of even being developed, but it felt like there was actually momentum to, like, give it a budget. But it felt like with Myth 3, even, 2 or 3 years after, whatever the time frame was, it did certainly feel like it was just a rush project, and it was between companies, and it was just like, well, yeah, you're going to lose a lot of your team to build it, and you're not going to get a budget to do it, and it has to be on time. So it just felt like
the actual team in itself is a unique situation in it, because, like, they didn't have a proper name. Team that made Myth 3, essentially, they were called Mumbo Jumbo, which was a name that Take-Two owned as like a casual games studio. And they're like, well, we'll just badge it under this. But it was like, I don't think they shared the same offices or anything. It was just like, well, that's how we're just going to make it work. So, like, we're this team that's named the same as another team that we have nothing really to do with. And, yeah, okay. The whole thing was so slapdash to just, get it done. And again, we're lucky that we had people that actually cared about what was being made, like Santa's Head, we had Fish, we had Iggy Pop, but we also had Scott Campbell at the top, who was like a fan of Myth, that was like, well, this is the worst possible situation, but god dang it, I'm gonna try and make something of this. So, like, if they had not given it to Scott Campbell, for example, or if they had not gotten these people that actually knew what they were doing with Myth, I think the product we would have gotten would have been one of those point and laugh kind of products.
Yeah, well, I think thankfully it wasn't that, for sure. Do you think that there's anything other than budget? Like, I guess budget hires the personnel, but like, was there any team members or programmers that like would have been crucial? Like, if you could have recruited like 3 more people, Like,
Well, that's the
were
thing.
there
Is
anyone that you?
again, it's all budget. Like I think that they actually had some really talented people. You want to look up Rebecca Heineman, who's like a fucking video game legend. She worked on Myth 3 as a programmer. She was the one that did the Doom port to like Super Nintendo, I think, and like all these like things that were considered technologically impossible at the time and stuff like that. She was one of the programmers on the game. She did work a lot on the engine, helped make it actually function. You had a number of really talented people from the Myth community working on it. You had Scott Campbell designing it and stuff, and so it's like it's not that the team wasn't talented, they just didn't have the time to actually make something that was good.
Yeah.
So even with all the talent in the world, if you don't have the time to actually the time and money to do it, then the best you're going to get is something that's maybe lucky. That's the only thing you hope you have, is to just strike lucky somehow.
That's a good way to say it. No, I think and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, like same time period. The multiplayer in GoldenEye on the N64 was something that they snuck in at the last minute, which wasn't originally
Like 2 weeks or something. Like,
yeah,
it was just like a side project, and
so, like that's cool. It's also not something you should ever expect as just a thing, because most of the time that doesn't actually work out at all.
But executives of the time were like, well, yeah, just do GoldenEye multiplayer.
Well, no, I don't even think it wasn't executives. It was somebody on the team that was like, we should just add multiplayer to this. And they're like, all right. And then they did.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, after the fact. I'm like, well, no, GoldenEye multiplayer, they
units detached.
Yeah, it only took them 2 weeks. We should be able to do this. For every game since then.
Well, it's easy to point at executives, but I think most of the time is that just making games in general is such a chaotic thing. Like it's nowhere near as glamorous or easy as you might imagine. Like when you think about like making a movie or writing a book, it's a lot more like these have been around for a long time, and we kind of know the basics of how to do that. Where when it comes to making a game, it feels like every time anybody makes a game, you have to reinvent the wheel. And that sounds obnoxious and difficult and needlessly wasteful, but that's actually basically the truth of it. Is that's essentially how it goes every time. And so it's hard, game development. It's a miracle any games come out that are any good. That's basically, having worked on games, that's the conclusion I came to. Like, I don't know how any games come out that are beyond the quality of, it works.
Hopefully we can get more players to try out Deadfall, because it is a very fun version. Anyways. So,
oh, yeah. I would love it. OD, you hear that?
Yeah.
Really quickly, outside of, or even within World War II, what's your favorite lesser played Myth 2 plugin or map?
I don't think I have a good answer for that, necessarily.
I'll throw one out then. Clue is a great plugin.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, as far as doing something completely unexpected and having it pan out.
That's true.
Like, it's a one-trick pony, but it does its trick way better than it has any right to do it.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of.
And I've only played it like novelly, like I've never played it really like with anyone like really, really expecting to play it well,
I mean, like, look at like Myth Chess, for example. Like, I don't think Myth Chess has the same level of like, you know, this just works. Like, yes, you can play chess, but it's janky and it's not something you would actually do besides the fact that, like, hey, we did it. We made this work. Another one that I found while doing my huge detail texture pack was there's a Vista Cartel map called Moonshadow Cave. It was super pretty, but I've never seen it played on anything. I'm sure that there's been a tournament or two that have used it. I just had never seen it prior to that. And I'll clarify what I mean by super pretty. It has a unique art style. It almost has a cel-shaded look about it. Oh, mother. So, not the classic kind of art style you would expect from a Myth map.
So, Moonshadow Cave, the plugin.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm just. It's a plugin for Myth, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
It's just a Myth 2 plugin. It's just a map from Vista Cartel, I believe. And it just has a unique art style that I'd never seen it played.
I'd like to try that a bit more. Maybe I played it once. I bet I have it downloaded. That
Yeah,
would
it was
be
fun.
interesting.
There's a lot of maps and stuff that when I made the detail texture plugin, that I made unique textures specifically for maps because I'm just like, you know, I had a huge collection of ones that I made. They're like, okay, these are rock textures, these are sand textures, these are dirt textures, these are grass textures, etc. But there was like Moonshadow Cave, because of its art style, I'm like, this just doesn't look right with normal textures. So I made kind of cartoony versions of all the textures so that it would better fit with the aesthetic. And then, like, for the Final Fantasy VI Deluxe plugin, I went and took textures from the original Final Fantasy VI on the Super Nintendo, like pixelated textures, and turned them into detailed textures. So it makes the ground all pixelated, specifically like the Super Nintendo and stuff like that. I think you could, you know, listening to me talk, you can probably understand. I'm somebody that probably cares too much about the details of things.
It's a good thing, though.
Also, what the verdict is on World War IV. Too much going on. Not easily readable. Very hard to quickly jump into. The fights are so quick, it's hard to feel like there's actually much skill involved in them. And I'm not trying to like crap on it. I'm just kind of going to give my feedback on it. I think that, you know, it doesn't have I feel like a gameplay hook that makes me go like, I want to play this more. Like, obviously with like this, it's learning to master the kind of the ranges for RPGs. It's learning to figure out how to trick the way that the game understands your movement to have them miss with shots and stuff like that. There's kind of learning all of that, and that's kind of what makes World War II stuff so easy to come back to over and over again. Oh, nice grenade on that cannon.
Fuck balls.
I mean, that was sort of what I was trying to get at with my design for.
Eliminated.
With my design for Deadfall's multiplayer was to try and go more for the kind of easier to quickly understand and get into, and then longer to kind of master the small parts to it. That was kind of my design philosophy for Deadfall from the beginning. Was when I first started working on it, I went like, it was originally created for LAN parties because back then,
But yeah, that was the thing. Yeah.
yeah, basically, and so I would have people over all the time. We would just like, okay, well, Myth runs on anything, so no matter what laptop or whatever you bring over to play, we can play Myth. And so I would make content for the LAN parties, and I didn't really share it online, but it was just like, okay. There was a fun one that was like a very large scale thing where you used the World War II units, but you know, 3 spawning, and it was this trench based level, which looked absolutely garbage. I think I found a early version of the color map recently, and it was like, oh wow, this looks horrible. But it was kind of trying to test how well you can macro manage a ton of the soldier units to stay on a flag, and so like learning to you know not club them together to have you throw grenades at the back of your guys' heads and stuff. And it was like not very good for actual competitive play, but very silly, stuff like that. And so like when I first started working on Deadfall, kind of the thing was I just started kind of getting in contact with the online community of Myth. And, okay, well, me trying to play Gimbal in the Wave or something, I was like, this is like impossible for me to actually make any progress. These people are completely wiping the floor with me. I have no chance. Like I could try for a while. I'm like, well, I do have experience playing World War II from playing with my brothers and stuff like that, but it also, World War II is, despite being a harder to play thing, quote unquote, it's actually a lot more approachable than regular Myth because there's a lot less learning you have to do to actually be competent at it. Like when you're using the World War II soldier, it's one unit, it has only a few abilities, and it's just mastering the little things. And so when I was designing Deadfall originally, I'm like, I want to make something that anybody could just pick up and start playing with their friends and enjoy it. And it doesn't have this like specifically like, oh, you've played Myth for 15 years, so here's this plugin for you. But it kind of was more for people that maybe barely played Myth, or because of its nature of being part of LAN parties, often people would show up that had never played Myth. So it was very much came out of that kind of culture of
I love that. No, I think that's great. And kind of like the weird thing, I guess probably no one thought that this game would be still played by even this many people, or few, I don't know, but it's enough to like make a community. And
yeah.
and it's now like less and less of that toxic community of like players
Yes.
that, oh my gosh, you don't know how to play Balls on Parade? It's
Yeah,
more just like, let's
I
help each other learn and let's have fun. And I think the community's almost growing because it's such a fun game. And if you have people that are mentors and are willing to teach you, and you have simple variants that people can kind of get their feet wet, like World War II or like Deadfall or things like that, and you have players that are just nice, I think it goes a long way.
that was the idea, was to make something that was the gateway drug to have people enjoy Myth, because I enjoy Myth. So how do I make it more accessible to people that because like if I play with somebody, I'm not great. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like I think anybody can watch the games I played and I go like, oh, he's not the worst, but that's pretty much the praise that you can get to. Like
Wait,
I
who said
enjoy it.
you're not the worst?
I don't think anybody said that. I'm saying that would be probably the highest praise that you could give me on my performance tonight. I didn't even get that praise, but you could probably give me that praise.
Totally joking.
So suffice to say, like, I've got to concentrate. There's death going on. I lost my train of thought, but I definitely there's a number of times over the years where back when the game was totally ruled by the worst players in the universe, where I would get pretty disparaged to the community and almost drop the game multiple times. It's like like when I'm just testing something and I have somebody following me around to lobbies to tell me about stuff that's nasty that I don't want to hear about. I'm like, what am I even doing this for?
Exactly, yeah.
And also for all, I know a lot of people often ask me like, why, where's Deadfall? Like, why is it not out yet? And I always have to kind of like, okay, well, there's a lot of reasons, but I think the the easiest to quickly, too long didn't read it is there was one or two script related things that I needed to fix for it to be what I wanted it to be, and so in the interim of trying to get those working, I spent a lot of time working on other things, and so it kind of was a victim of quite a bit of feature creep, of just like, well, I can't work on this right now, so I'll work on this other thing. This is fun, and it meant that to kind of get all of it up to a state that I felt, reflected what I wanted, became this cliff to get it there, get more and more steep over the years, and I think that it got to a point where I'm like, I don't know that I'm ever going to finish this because it's so steep now. And then I got hired off and started working on Deadhold and such. So it was like, okay, well, now I'd feel guilty if I was spending time. I should be working on Deadhold, working on Deadfall, which that's enough to wrap your head around. Having two things I worked on that close in name, but oof. Somebody needs some units. There you go. Oh, come on, Hill. Work with me. Wow, I did terrible there. Yeah, it's funny that, after Deadhold, I came back and it's like, well, now I actually now that I have some professional work on video games, I was like, all right, well, how can I bring that back to Myth? And so a lot of the stuff I've done since then has been, in some ways, I feel a lot more high quality. I feel like with Deadfall, there's been a level of I want to get this out the door. So I feel like it's not where it is right now. It's not as polished as I would have had done many years back, but I think that I'm actually closer than ever to releasing it. I feel like if I had a good week or something of time off, I could probably just kick it out. But in the meantime, I don't have a week, so when I have time, I work on it from time to time.
But it's such a boon to the community when you do. I think everyone is excited to see the next Jon God map. So.
I don't know about that, but
5 minutes.
I feel
not
like
everyone. Maybe that's a grandiose state.
There are people way better at making maps than me. I would say not a beginner per se, but I would not. I feel like I'm more of a mess around with stuff that already exists kind of a person. I always
Overdose hates your maps.
Oh yeah. But no, I mean, that was the thing with Heroes. I like the maps that I made for it, but it was also my first time really going I want to make my own maps. I don't want to just use the stuff that already exists. And so, very much a learning process. And my first map, Exodus, which was what the plugin was originally called, was really it was essentially just going, hey, how can I try and recreate the magic of Recon in a new map? What is the checklist of things I need to have? And so in some ways I'm I enjoy it, it's pretty and stuff, but I also feel like it's very derivative. But it was how I learned, it's okay, let me try and remake this thing that's great. At least while doing it, I'll figure out how it works. Holy moly, what was that? I didn't know that cannons could have their shots bounce.
Yeah, it really sucks when they do, too, because sometimes you just absolutely nail.
That just happened to me. It basically
rubber ball
bounced off my head. But yeah, I would say I've seen so many amazing maps over the years,
Flag
especially from
lost.
oh,
Team eliminated.
son of a gun.
Game over.
So many maps that were from projects that never got finished and stuff. I always go back to many years ago. Dead Man showed back up after being away for like a decade, and threw together a map, and it looked like it is the prettiest looking myth map I've ever seen. And then he worked on it for a little while and then vanished again. And so like there's no release version of it, but I have these screenshots that are just utterly gorgeous. It's like, wow. I wish I had those skills.
When it is crazy to think, like, even, like, as developed or non-developed as you would proclaim to be, but then thinking that they're, even people that you would hold in higher regard. Just
Oh yeah.
anyone out there making maps for this old game, it's just amazing.
I feel like there's a lot of people that I would immediately point to if somebody's like, "Oh, you're like the king of the crop." I'd be like, no. Like when it came to people that knew scripting, like Pyro and HMP were like way above me. Like it's not even comparable.
Units
Does
I like
HMP
to do
still work on maps at all, or do you just helps people if they want?
Units detached.
I don't know. To be honest.
Units detached.
It is certainly still involved in the community, but
Units detached. Units detached.
But yeah, and then it comes to map making. I would say HMP is better than me. I would say anything Ozone does is like a magnitude better than anything I can do visually. His maps are gorgeous. I'd say Dead Man, like as I mentioned before, his work is incredibly beautiful. I mean, like we're currently playing an Ozone map, for example. It's gorgeous. I'm gonna be a terrible person and say I actually am not really a fan of Clem's work. Like everybody asks me that because
you're not a fan of what?
Of Clem's work.
Yeah. Sorry, there was an explosion right when you said it. You're like, I'm going to go on the record. I'm going to say that, and no one is going to like this, but that's what I had heard.
Oh! Son of a gun. That was terrible. So yeah, I especially as I had to really look at his work a lot while working on my detail texture pack, because like one of the things that for a long time was the biggest request was like seventh god, do the seventh god, and I was like I'm not overly fond of the seventh god. It's fine. And I know I'm a heretic for saying that, but oh my gosh, having to look at those maps for as long as I did to texture them, because I don't know. I think a lot of people don't really understand what it took to make the maps and the detail maps in the detail texture pack. A lot of people thought that it was, take the terrain map and then just go, okay, this is sand, this is wood. But actually, for each map, what I would do is I would do it by hand, just basically ink over the map like a drawing.
Wow.
So one map generally took anywhere from 40 minutes to 4+ hours, depending on the complexity of it. So like when doing the Seventh God, which is a 25 level campaign or whatever, it was just like, okay, I've got to spend days and days looking at all these maps, and like I didn't really love them all that much. They have this kind of like, I feel weird saying it and I'm trying to put it into words, but it's like, the best way I can put it is it's kind of like, it looks not anti-aliased almost. Like, this map is incredibly smooth. Like,
what do you mean anti-alias? I guess I don't understand that. Is that a terminology thing?
Has a kind of, it's like they made more detail on the maps themselves, but in what it ended up doing as a byproduct is because it's more detailed, you have to kind of shove detail into a very low resolution, and you end up getting these kind of like stuff like tiles and stuff that are really sharp angles.
Yeah. I guess I could kind of see that in Seventh God.
Yeah, all of most of Clem's maps are filled with that sort of stuff. And I'm like,
Units detached.
It also
Units
is
detached.
on a, holy cow. It's on the detail texture side. It's extremely difficult to texture that and have it not look raw.
Says he thinks it was more for his time.
Absolutely.
He was-
Okay. I'm not going to take away from like the fact that so many people ask me that is, telling that, hey, his maps look good. I just personally didn't like them.
I don't think Crip is arguing either. He's just saying, it's just like Clem, may not have had the time to put into it as that maybe Clem even would have liked, but.
Oh, wow. Well, I think, when it comes to making maps, I do think that his maps are probably prettier than mine. I have the benefit of much more modern technology to work with, but I don't think I have the specific skills that he had to put together stuff. I'm just, again, I just have more modern technology.
I'm not a hater, but I hate him. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's basically, I when I first kind of joined the online Myst community, I went like, okay, I missed out on a lot. Like, I played the game, I don't know anything about the community. Like, and so there was a lot of digging. I spent a few years kind of just going like, what all is the stuff that happened? Because I clearly don't know anything. And so I tracked down lots of old people and talked with them and trying to kind of get an idea of like, okay, from your side, what happened and stuff. And it seemed like everybody hated Clem. Nobody had anything good to say about him. But, okay, well, some of the stuff I heard was utterly terrible, and I was like, well, all right. He was the one person I did not reach out to because I just was like, well, he seems to have left it alone, and I don't know this person. I could talk to, I basically was like, I could either, potentially start a terrible thing by getting him involved in the community again by reaching out to him, or I could just leave this alone and never touch it. I don't know. I can only talk from what other people have said, and so I'd also hesitate to really, say too much because I don't like talking behind people's backs. Because, and that's why I kind of preface it like, I've heard terrible stuff. I have no interaction with him at all. Also, one more person I want to shout out to that's just absolutely, utterly amazing maps was Gizmo, who, for the saddest reasons, we only officially released a few maps that we know of, but like he worked on a lot of different things that never got finished and stuff, and I feel like he was maybe the highest quality map maker in terms of like how visually and how he was very detail oriented stuff and finding like a way to make things look really realistic and pretty, but also not that kind of non.
Not sure if you're seeing Crip's chats and log. Yep, cool.
Yeah, Gizmo, and he was also a pretty interesting dude.
5
He was
casualty.
well, that's a good way to put this. He was in some ways kind of a jerk, but he was also aware of that fact, so he tried to be nice. That's the best way I can word that. And he was, for the most part, pretty friendly to me. So, besides being goofy and such.
Besides being goofy?
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely remember him and Ozone and stuff doing like faux outrage kind of stuff at the time of like, how dare they do this and whatnot and stuff. And they were just obviously just being silly about the whole thing and like, and so both him and Ozone goofballs. I miss Ozone.
Are they just like gone? They wouldn't play Myth again, or like
Gizmo
does
retired. He put out the stuff that he had, and he's like, "Hey, anybody can work with the stuff." That's where Aztec Origins got kind of dropped, and as well as his version of his Myth 3 port, which he was actually going to go and recreate all of the units in sprite form by reanimating them by hand. Somebody dropped him a thing of all of the original unit 3D models for Myth 3, but with no animations. So he was working on redoing every animation himself by hand. He redid the interface to match Myth 3, and like, did just a lot of crazy amount of detail, because that's kind of mapmaker he was.
he's retired from map making? Would he ever play the game again, or is it just like
No, I don't know. I haven't talked with him in quite a while. I would have to. I'm pretty sure I remember his name, but I don't know. I don't have like his email address. So just finding him would be. But yeah,
would be a challenge? Yeah.
I 100% on Kryptos. He didn't play that much. He was mostly just tinkering around. I think he was a graphic designer as his job, I want to say. And so, you know, he was really good at that. And it showed in the maps and stuff that he created. Super high quality stuff.
Casualty. Flag captured. Flag contested. Flag contested. Flag captured. Flag lost. Flag. Flag. Flag captured. Flag contested. Flag contested. Flag contested. Flag contested. Flag.
Also, I guess a shout out to Rip, who I'm completely unfamiliar with, but when working on Heroes, I noticed in the
Flag.
the
Flag captured.
like the
Team.
pre-game box for
Game
Recon.
over.
It says in the corner that he did the color map for it.
Oh, nice.
Don't know. Apparently, he's part of Vista Cartel, according to that thing. But don't know him at all. I have no idea. But hey, Recon is a good color map.
Yeah, for sure. Trip was asking who?
Basically, here, switch it to Recon for a second. You'll see. See in the corner there? Rip Vista. In the original one, it says the color map was by Rip, but Deluxe was him. Oh yeah, Santa's Head and Blue. But yeah, I don't know anything about him. I kind of want to reach out because this Fizz was one of the Vista Cartel people, so like I'd like to see if he knows anything about, because I feel like there's a story there, right? I know that Recon was originally made in a weekend, basically.
New units received.
That he was making a plugin
New
using the
units
poacher
received.
units, Santa's Head, and then somebody slipped him a thing so he could
Units
make
detached.
collections or whatever, and so he threw together the soldier and then was playing around with it on, I think, Down a Broken Path, and then he's like, oh, we should play a multiplayer thing with it, and so Rip threw together the map, and then he put the units on it, and boom. So, which would explain stuff like why that one RPG can't be picked up near the hill. Did anybody try any of the unfinished stuff I dumped on the Tane a while back?
Seems very broad, potentially.
Yeah, I kind of was like, at one point I was pruning. I'm like, there's a bunch of these projects I'm never gonna finish, but somebody might get enjoyment out of it. So I was always just farting around with like, what can you get away with in the Myth engine? So like, I made a tower defense level. I made a chrono trigger thing that somebody else was working on and gave me the files, and it's like, okay, well, I just made a very basic RPG, turn-based RPG system. And I also made a Diablo kind of inspired action RPG thing as well. You can play co-op with. Ow!
It was a good shot. I'm surprised it didn't kill you. It was supposed to kill you.
That's like when you get sometimes you get a direct hit and it doesn't, like there's a chance it won't kill. A very low chance. Like, oh, ow! That's my most
happens to me.
5 minutes remaining.
Ew.
I mean, Exodus was originally thrown together in a day as well, so I guess there's unintentionally some lineage there. It was refined over more than a day, but it was originally the color map was really created in a day. And just for silliness' sake, I'm pretty sure I contacted you about 10 billion years ago, Kryptos, about animating units, and I'm pretty sure you don't remember me from that.
Game over.
Sorry, you talking to Crip? Who are you talking to? Sorry.
Oh yeah, Kryptos.
Yeah.
Somebody pointed me at him like, oh my gosh, maybe 2008 or 9. And was like, hey, he might be able to teach you how to animate units or something. Something along those lines. And I remember contacting him that many billion years ago, and I'm pretty sure you don't remember that or have any idea what I'm talking about because that's so long. Yeah, I did the modern port of Green Berets because I was like, well, you can play.
New units received.
You can currently play basically all of the Myth plugins right now in Modern Myth. The only exception was there was one Jin third-party plugin that was missing one of the tags for the modern version of Jin. So I was like, okay, I updated that, and then there was then there was Green Berets, which you had to do annoying amount of stuff to get working, and I basically had a separate install of Myth so that I could play that because it was just like a pain in the butt. I was like, you know what? Screw that. I'm gonna port this so anybody can play it and co-op it and whatever. Like warts and all, like just being able to play it now would be nice. And so, yeah, I was the one that spearheaded that and made that happen, which was actually a lot more annoying than it sounds like it would be. Oh my gosh, that can of worms never ended. There was like script bugs in the original script that caused Myth to hard lock and stuff like that. And stuff that had been broken in the interim because that was made on Myth 1.3 and stuff like that. So like just getting it to work properly like seems like it should be like, you know, drag and drop, but it was absolutely not. But hey, you can play it now, so there you go. And it was fun. When I finished it, I went and I got the HTML files for the original website that was hosted on Take-Two's servers from the 2001 or whatever, and I made a mirror of it so you could see it for the new version of Green Berets. Fun to just be like, oh, here you go. And I also found all of the third-party maps, including the one by you, Kryptos, and made them available for download. So not only the Green Beret, but Green Beret and the third-party maps. What else? I also made a regular map as one of my unfinished projects. It's not very interesting, to say the least. Oh my god. How am I not dead?
I know. Bullet time. You survived a million hits.
Oh my god, I don't even have a bulletproof vest on. What's going on here? Oh, actually, I grabbed somebody's unit. Sorry. Oh. In the back, like the pirate you are. Yeah, there's other projects I worked on that will probably also never see the light of day, but there was a great one. Me and Onyx Warlords were remaking Blood Gulch into and Halo into Myth. We had a whole. We basically ripped the original 3D models from Halo with all the animations and everything, and we were adjusting all the stats to be the same. And yeah. It was really pretty, and like all of the detail textures were the textures used in the original Blood Gulch at the same resolution and everything, so it looked really authentic. All right, who am I going to saddle this with? There you go. Because you can't complain. Well, you can't verbally complain to me if I saddle you with that. I don't think I'll ever top the detail texture pack, though. I think that you know that took me 4 years to make. I think something like that. Like I think Deadfall 2 or Deadfall, whatever I want to end up calling it, is like I think that it will be big and such, but I don't think it will be as ubiquitous as this. Like I kind of wasn't expecting this to be as like I've seen my detailed extra pack be included in like torrents of the game, being like, oh, this is the HD mod. Okay. But I hope people like it. I certainly had never planned to make Heroes. Heroes was a weekend project that spiraled out of control because it turned out to be way better than I expected it to be. But originally it was because I was getting kind of burnt out on Deadfall and I needed something to like kind of refresh my palette. So I was like, well, I will make a World War II plugin because I haven't made a color map really from scratch. It's not terrible, so I'll do that. And then way more people started playing Heroes than Deadfall. And I do have this dream someday that like I will take I will have enough money to hire somebody to rip the online always requirement out of the source of Deadhold and then just remake WWII Recon in it. Be like, here, modern Recon, enjoy yourselves. Free.
New units received.
Am I still connected to voice chat? It got awful quiet. Okay. Good enough for rock and roll. And I would like to give a thanks to Overdose, because without him, you would not have World War II Heroes.
How do you make that connection?
Well, I think it was just joining a World War II game that was being played, you know, before I started working on Exodus, and being like, oh, it's nice people playing World War II, and it's fun. I was like, I guess I'll make it. And then kind of, you know, as like the tournaments went on and stuff, you were very supportive of it and stuff, and it made me feel like continuing working on it. So had it been just like, oh, you know, just stayed a weekend project, it likely would not be the kind of plugin that it is now. It probably would have just been a few new maps for World War II that kind of get played a few times and then thrown out.
If you're talking about nice people, you probably have me confused with someone else. Maybe Spy?
Well, I didn't say nice, I said supportive.
I'm pretty sure you said nice. It's on the record.
Okay. Yeah, it is on the record, so I'm not gonna... But I meant supportive. You were very supportive.
Okay. Well,
Where is Spy anyway?
He's probably tucked in bed, you know, with a stupid grin on his face.
Why does he get to be happy?
I don't know. I mean, it's probably really cold outside where he is, and he's probably underneath some nice covers.
Well, I hope you're doing well, Spy. We're all thinking of you.
And I hadn't thought about it until he brought his name up. Oh,
Well, no, you brought his name up, so now we're all thinking of him. I blame you.
Overdose cracks me up so much. You said the word nice. I don't think that's what you mean. I could have been supportive, but I certainly am not nice. It's very funny.
It was funny that the amount of little details that I was working on Heroes that I was like, I have to get this right and stuff. So like when it came to you know, upscaling things and stuff like that, or modifying things, it's like, you know, when you blow up an RPG in this, you get like a piece of a bottle from your bomb explosion. And I'm like, I could fix that. Thanos had fixed that in later things, but that's kind of just become a thing that it's been a part of it for so long. It's like, why would I break that? Like,
Team
just stay that way.
eliminated. Game over.
So like when I was working on Heroes, I was like constantly like, no, gotta keep this as much as, you know, somebody comes back and hasn't played in 20 years. I want them to go like, yep, this is exactly what I remember. And then be able to do all the clown shoe stuff as well.
New units received.
yeah. I mean, I really like in Heroes the bouncing grenades, whatever it is.
The grenade launchers.
Oh, that's what it's called. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
the grenade launchers.
That came from, was it? I don't remember who it was. Was it you? Somebody suggested explosive bullets, and I made that, and I'm like, it works, but it could be so much more. So
Yeah, I mean,
And
I,
so-
I think it was either me or Leo, because I think Leo also had some really good suggestions, or I should say Stonewall for that matter. He had some really good suggestions for heroes, and I'm pretty sure you implemented a bunch of them. So
yeah, there's a more coming. I've added a lot more add-ons based on things I've seen since the last version of it. So, and expect some surprises too. I haven't said anything. Everything. Sorry.
okay, well, I
So
mean,
there's going to be some little things here and there that you'll enjoy. So
nice. When can we expect it?
that's the $1,000,000 question. So right now I'm just about to be switching jobs. So in the interim, I'm kind of busy. So I don't know how much time I'll have the next few weeks to work on it. But once I settle in on my new job, hopefully I'll actually have a little bit more free time. I'll be working the same amount, but I won't be so burnt out every day. So,
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, take care of your real world stuff. That definitely
yeah, for
takes
sure.
priority. But yeah, I mean, we are all anxious to see this final version.
Yep. Oh, that was almost a really good zook.
5 minutes remaining.
That it just gave me a haircut. Oh my god, I'm not in a good place. Yeah. Followed one person right into a trap. Holy cow. It's all good.
Team eliminated. Game over.
Just my bum stuck.
Well, that's nothing. Just play one round on Ashes to Ashes and WWII Heroes. That'll give you some damage. That's the joke. One of the joke levels I added, and I added.
New units received.
Were you saying
I added
something? Oh,
2 joke levels in Heroes just for fun because I just felt like it. One of them is meant for dueling, which is Dead Valley, which is incredibly small. Like you can almost see the entire map from anywhere on the map. And so like it's sort of a joke, but 1 versus 1 it wouldn't be terrible. But I added like S2 and S4 on it and stuff just for shits and giggles.
Units detached.
The other one is Ashes to Ashes, which was a level from Deadfall, which originally was part of the was it Strangelet's alien conversion, I think, or it was
New units received.
I don't remember exactly where, but it's just a big open like apocalyptic looking landscape, and has some trenches and stuff in it. And I was like, you know what? This is going to be a throwback to that terrible old plugin I made when I first was learning Fear and Loathing, where each team had like 200 World War II soldiers. Like, yep, that's what it is. And yeah, it's absolute chaos, and it's not in a good way, but it's in a humorous way. And you will also get 1 billion damage by playing that because there's 200 soldiers per team. So.
well, I'll keep that in mind if I ever have to do any kind of ratio-based scoring system in a future
Yeah,
tournament.
don't play that.
Remaining.
way over. You know, occasionally I do really well with RPGs, and every once in a while I play with the RPGs like somebody first playing Recon for the first time, where they just do so far past
You
the
just have one of those days, man.
Yeah. You got this. There's no way you can lose. It would be astonishing.
My boomstick got stuck.
Team eliminated. Game over.
Well, Kryptos is killing his vet, which was actually my vet. So thanks a lot for that.
It was also fun to include the Giant Fighting Grounds gold tag set for Heroes. That was a kind of like, I never got into that scene, but I thought it would be a fun thing for the people who did, especially since I included that map.
Oh yeah, GFGG. Now you're talking my language. Yeah, that's a good. That's good. Oh my God, he turned it on. It's getting
God.
serious now at 11:36 p.m. on a. Oh, never mind. It's World War II.
Perfect. Okay.
Yay! Actual merc giants.
New units received.
I was looking at making a thing that replaces the.
Now I can focus again.
Yeah, I was looking at making an add-on that let you play as goals and be able to pick up and throw all the weapons and stuff like that, but ended up being not fun, so I scrapped it. And it also potentially caused lots of problems, so I was like, you know.
Well, you don't want to be causing problems.
Oh my God, bug fixing is never good.
Flag captured.
Oh boy! You gotta get out of there! Now we gotta get back in there.
Yeah, this map is not very detailed. Color map.
Team eliminated. Game over.
I mean, this was really built for the point horrors. Because I was one of them, and I was the one with like. Let's see, I think
I was one of them. That's so funny.
It's built for the poors, and I was one of them.
Yeah, I remember buying, let's see, 3 copies of Myth 2 for the dummy account serial numbers, and then
oh man,
and then I
You were like OG, like duping. Like you bought multiple copies of the game, not just like back, like now when you could just like reinstall it.
Well, yeah, I mean
That's amazing.
That's how you had to do it back in the day, and then I remember giving copies of Myth 2 to some of my friends, just trying to get them to freaking play. Of course, they never did, so I think I might have stolen those CDs from my friends and made even... I think I had like a total of 6 or 7.
Flag contested.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look for me, but it is what it is. And now I work in finance. That sort of makes sense, right?
That makes sense.
No, you were supposed to say the correct answer was no. Actually, we understand that you're a compassionate person, and you were in no way a point horror. But I don't know.
Honesty is a virtue, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, that was pretty terrible.
Team eliminated. Game over.
But yeah, were any of you guys in the GFGG orders?
Nope.
No.
Never joined an order ever.
Oh, okay. Strong silent type.
I actually hadn't played it until pretty much I met you as a player.
Okay. Yeah, this was, I would say,
New
the third
units
chapter
received.
of my myth playing. I think
Your personal life decline and myth growth.
yeah, well, I mean, the first chapter was Reg, second chapter World War II, and then I played let's see, I played Diablo 2 for a while, and then I came back to Bungie Net right before it closed, and then, you know, that's when I was in RBD for a while, Reckless but Devastating, and that was a pretty solid order. Had some good times with those guys. And
Flag
played a heck of a lot of GFGG. So.
Nice.
Yeah, wish some of those guys were. I remember we had some pretty good times with. Let's see, what was the order we used to play? MOD, Ministry of Death, or something like that. Just a bunch of, you know, pretty much point horrors, but just in a different order. It's good stuff.
Flag contested.
I just love how everybody was so obsessed with these fictional points that didn't really have any kind of value whatsoever. But they played for these little planet icons, you know?
They kept those going in Halo.
Oh, I didn't know.
But I was never, like, for me, it's always just fun. I probably could have reached that in Halo. Like, I played a lot of Halo. Halo 2 specifically, I did the math, and a low estimate would be about 3,400 hours of it or something.
That's a lot of Halo, man.
Yeah, so I Halo hooked me the same way that Myth did.
5 minutes remaining.
But it's why these days I'm playing lots of Splitgate, which is very much Halo 2 inspired. But yeah, if at the high ranks you would have like a star, a sun, the Halo ring, etc.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, I thought Halo 2 was the best one. I only played the original trilogy, but I really liked Halo 1.
Well,
sorry, Halo 2. Sorry.
It I feel like the best way to I always explain the Halo series is that the Halo original trilogy was great, and I feel like it also very much parallels the Star Wars trilogies.
Flag.
Where you have the original one, which is really good. The first is simple, but fun story, fun characters, whatever, but not a hugely amazing thing. The second one expands everything, and it's the best in the series. The third one does a lot of stuff and definitely has a higher budget, but also it's not the same levels as the second one.
Oh, go, 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 go. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Yeah, yeah.
Game over.
I knew it. We had it. Oh. It was just one of those ones that, like...
Makes no sense, but who cares?
No, it does. No, and that's, like, why some people hate it. But it makes a lot of sense. Because the Merc Giant just has that one slight little bit of vetting.
Yeah.
But then there's also just that like little like pause that probably all units are just designed to do. Just in general, like a stutter or just like one, like just to make it a little more realistic. There will always be some variance.
A flinch. Yeah.
And so it makes total sense, but it doesn't, But it's like if you can play the odds, you totally can get it. And like
the punch in or the stab in or two is that 100%.
Exact. Yeah. That's why I like the this map so much is you certainly can you can favor your odds. You do have to play smart, but
Flag contested.
God, I wish I still somewhere have all my old plugin discs. I burned CDs of plugins back in the day, downloading off of like the mill and stuff like that. I remember downloading a version of this when it was still in development and having it just crash
Flag
myth.
contested.
really,
Yeah. I think it was before Gold. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I think it was the original Giant Fighting Grounds. Alright, I'm getting smashed.
Flag contested.
Yeah, Kryptos. One of the things I added for World War II Heroes is you can just toggle on a thing and it will turn any World War II map in
Contested.
Heroes into a Giant Fighting Grounds style thing. Replace all the soldiers with giants.
5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, Heroes became the kind of the ultimately moddable or modifiable World War II thing for the host. So they can just be like, oh, I just want to do this. Okay, you can do that.
ooh, suck.
I was thinking about upscaling the chopper and the turret for the next version of Heroes, but I decided against it because while that would be awesome and it would make them look much more visually nice, the only way to do it is to upscale them and then realign every single sprite by hand, like pixel by pixel, to make it match up. And good God, that was horrible working on the World War II soldier. That's like, what, hundreds of sprites, and you have to line up each one by hand. It was the worst.
Oof.
New units received.
Can you vet off of these birds?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Also, if we're shouting out people that were nice, I forgot to shout out earlier, MP was nice enough to have copies of a bunch of old World War II maps and projects that are not available anywhere else. He gave me that I was able to include in Heroes.
He should be about up by now, I think. It's got to be morning in England soon, right?
Morning somewhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm alive. Running on fumes here.
Flag contested. Flag captured. Flag contested.
Oh my God! Why do they sometimes just
Flag
not throw and
contested.
instead just walk at them?
Team eliminated. Game over.
Maybe the range is too close. You need to T-click behind them.
Hmm.
Yeah, and terrain is really variable, particularly towards the center of the map there.
Units detached. Units detached. Units detached.
And I return.
Flag captured. Flag contested.
Yeah, so I mean, I wasn't really planning on a 6-hour session today, which is pretty much what it turned into, huh, Walter?
Yeah,
Actually,
seriously.
Walter, if you want to add in Doom.
That is true, yeah. No, I think you might have to break this into a few different.
Contested.
I have.
Lost.
Yeah, I mean,
Flag
basically.
contested.
But I don't think I'm gonna post the Doom video. That, I mean, I had to quit out of boredom. It was kind of rough, you know.
You don't want to get copyright strike for hosting Doom content.
Flag
I'm gonna get a
contested.
copyright strike for
Flag contested.
that one map with the Metallica outro.
Oh, yeah. Don't play the co-op of the camp.
Oh, with the Rage Against the Machine. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got destroyed this game.
Back when I was working on the HD units project, I was working on one of the units I got to work on was the Mercudian Giant.
Team eliminated. Game over.
It was fun.
Nope. But why are we having sex? John? Okay, thank you for pulling out. That was weird. Sorry.
So Kryptos, when are you going to download Heroes?
New units received.
I think I actually scared him off of it, 'cause now he's not even replying anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't want to download it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do about another 10 minutes.
That sounds good. I'm snacking on chocolate covered
captured.
almonds because I haven't had dinner, and that's the only thing within reaching distance.
Oh, nice. Gotta love almond. You're in California, right?
Yeah.
That's one of our biggest agricultural exports.
That's why you guys are always into those almonds.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we're always in a drought, because we export a bunch of
Flag lost.
crops, and it all takes water.
So you drain all your lakes resources.
Pretty much. I mean, most of the water, like all of the water, is mostly used for agricultural reasons, and we sell
Flag
our agriculture
contested.
to other.
And Nestle is meanwhile on the side, like twiddling his mustache, going, I see where
We
this
can-
is going.
We can buy fresh water resources.
Flag
I think like right now in the Midwest, like we kind of laugh because we have like Minnesota, a land of 10,000 lakes or whatever, but then also all the Great Lakes, so we're just like, haha, stupids. But then eventually, I think it's like, what is the There Will Be Blood movie where I drink your milkshake sort of thing,
remaining.
where all of a sudden you tap under everything, or just basically all the resources all of a sudden start disappearing and they're just gone, owned by someone else.
Is it Michigan or whatever, where they have the city where it's just, oh yeah, the pipes are now poisoning everybody with the water.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, do you remember how like the Great Lakes used to be one of North America's best resources? Well, now it's poisoned.
Yeah, that's what America's good at.
Good at shooting ourselves in the foot.
Oh, yes. You got this, Kryptos. No doubt in my mind.
I think he's
You gotta.
about to get slapped.
I'm gonna come slap him. I'm gonna get him a little slap. I'm willing to play this out. I'll even let you turn if you want. You just can't throw.
He's gonna turn and he's gonna throw, guaranteed.
Oh, don't. No, he's trying to fight. Okay, I'll just give him a slap. Now he just goes
Smack him.
slap.
Not in the moneymaker.
That was a good dodge.
Yeah, I actually kind of hope he kills all you guys.
That would blow my mind.
I mean, one-on-one, it's possible, unlikely. But since he doesn't want to fight reasonably one-on-one.
Oh my god, the camera's so fun right here.
Team
Yeah,
eliminated.
alright.
Game over.
Let's play one more, but let's play like combat.
King
Or
of the
something.
Hill? Oh. Not GFGG?
No, let's play like a classic like World War II combat.
Merc Elim, like Leo? Would like?
I'd do it, but I prefer regular. I don't like that weird like thing where you're too close and you shoot, it does no damage, so you have to back off and you get shot in the back and die.
We not do body count. That's like.
No. Ugh, especially
I'm
with
sorry, Crypt. How does Stampede work on World? I don't think I've ever played Stampede on World War II. We can try it. I just don't know what it is. What do we?
I would imagine it's still like Assassin, but you have to take your unit to the center or something. All I can think.
New units received. New
Overdose, you're
units
getting a
received.
second because I'm terrible holding two units at once.
Oh wait, I gave. Maybe I shouldn't give our worst player the assassin unit. Okay. Well.
Hey, you like to live dangerously, eh? Oh, that guy got boomed. Oh man, somebody just got a haircut.
Team eliminated. Game
Oh.
over.
Well, okay. Yeah, I'm fine with doing one more before I go. That was silly. Just okay. Good.
New
I was gonna
units
say, just be
received.
smart and don't give me the assassin unit.
But the thing is, maybe you can do some triple reverse psychology and given you the assassin unit's actually smart.
No.
Oh, and then Leonardo just left.
What happened?
I bet he's gonna claim out of sync, maybe.
New units received.
And now Father X missing them. Yeah. Man, I wish there was plans to make it so in the UI that you could from like the lobby to be able to look at the stats from the last game, but it didn't make it in for the last update. And I was like, man, that would be so nice. So when I get to click through really quickly, you're not like, fuck.
Were there someone against it, or like why didn't it
No,
make it
it's
in?
just time. Takes time to
New
make any
units
features.
received.
So
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much effort you could put into a 20-year-old game, right? So.
And I don't know if anybody's ever told you, but the code of myth is held together with staples duct tape. Like, oh, we moved it slightly. Oh, it's just shattering. Oh no. I remember I coded one feature for myth, and that was enough for me never to go back. The monster behavior C thing is like 800 pages long.
I mean, you're talking to the wrong guy. I have no idea what any of that means.
Basically,
I also don't know.
And I think the guy who might know, he doesn't have the ability to talk. So, you know, I don't.
it's a good way of putting this.
I mean, it's late. Don't even bother.
Imagine.
I think I like
I'll just take your
dictionary.
word for it that it's difficult.
Well, specifically the monster behavior thing. Imagine having a dictionary, but the entire dictionary is on one page.
The very small text.
Yeah, you just go like, why is it designed this way? I don't understand why it's designed this way.
Well, yeah, I mean, even by 1996 computers, it would still be pretty obsolete or kind of outdated.
5 minutes remaining.
And my team is not in the plains. I don't know what these guys are. Oh God.
In plain sight.
Exactly. And let's just say that I'm an important person,
But not a very important. Just an important.
yeah.
We don't need overdose to stay alive by all.
Ow. Luckily, I wasn't the VIP target.
What do we do to heal you, bro?
Oh, that nade was so close.
Yeah, that was like, I was like, oh shit, is this it?
And I was like, is he really that stupid to walk into it? But of course, it's Kryptos, so he dodged it.
I'd like to, you know, there's a World War II map that is really good, but didn't get much play. I think it's got more play in Heroes than I've seen otherwise. Was Arena.
Team eliminated.
Nice.
Over.
The ozone map. That hill is so good for banking grenades, like the area in the hill area in Arena. Trying to get one more in on me, eh? I guess.
Kryptos, the jump starter.
New units received.
Well, Krypt,
Yeah.
you better have heroes for next thing.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to play it tomorrow. Do you think you're going to be around?
I might be around in the evening, but in the morning and afternoon, I've got to be doing something.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, like, without you, Heroes rarely gets any kind of momentum. So I think, like, if you want us to play it, you're going to have to sort of
Be there.
Yeah, I will try and get my hosting set up so I can actually host again, since I had to get a new router essentially, and I wasn't the one that set it up, so I could figure out what the password is so I can open the port and host.
Well, I mean, you know, I don't think the lack of host is necessarily the problem. It's just more, you know, you putting your foot down and forcing some of these clowns to actually play Heroes.
That's fair.
Alright. As long as they're focusing on you, we should be good.
Team
Yeah.
Oh!
eliminated. Game.
Oh no!
We ended up in a hard spot.
That was a ridiculous. It was two close range RPGs at each other, and mine hit the ground first, so it blew up his in the air and killed him. I'm good. That was a good.
Oh, I thought you knew. I'm sorry, Odie.
No, it's just me being an idiot. I should have known.
I was doing the double
Oh no!
bluff.
Everything is awful.
Units detached. Units detached.
Man, when making maps, the least fun part is decorating. Like, I love throwing together a color map, but then I'm like, shit, I gotta put trees and grass down, and I've gotta figure out where to place all the power-ups you pick up. Like, ugh. That is the least fun part about it. Like designing how it's gonna look, great. Like, putting all the trees down, okay, a few hours later, and it still looks like a robot made it.
Well, that's an interesting
You
thing
programmers are robots. No.
Well, it's hard because,
sorry.
like, your brain goes, like, you know, should there be a tree here? Like, I don't know, just put trees here, 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 and it's like, it's hard to mimic how nature would actually grow trees, let alone what actually works for gameplay. Because, like,
That's fair. Yeah.
most World War II maps have trouble even recreating how well the gameplay is in Recon because of the, like, how sparsely the trees are and how specific they are. They have this little thicket here by the South Hill. You've got you know, the area over by this south of or east of the swamps and stuff like that. But, like, a lot of the plains, the hills and stuff have very few trees and such. But oh my gosh, I hate doing all that. If that wasn't involved, I'd kick out maps like once a week.
I mean, if it was
But every
easy,
time-
then everyone would be
5
doing
minutes
it.
remaining.
Right? If there was ways that, and I've asked for this before, but I was refused, but if there were ways to,
Eliminated. Game
Zook.
over.
If there was ways to auto, like, you know, like have a brush and just be like, okay, put grass in this area. Okay, you know, randomly generate trees in this area, and then you just modify it. Oh my god, that would be a million times better than what it is now, where every
Units
single thing has
detached.
to be placed.
Units detached.
Yeah, I was
The endless loop.
I was completely satisfied.
Yeah.
Kryptos will not allow us to break. It's like the last scene of Doctor Strange, the first movie.
Man, I grew up on superhero comics and stuff, and the last superhero movies I watched were Iron Man and Dark Knight. Iron Man 1.
Those were good though. Oh
They
no!
were. It's just, like,
Someone save
trying to-
me! I'm the last one. I need to be saved.
Trying to catch up now, like, oh yeah, there's some Marvel movies.
No. Yeah, but those were very good. Sorry.
No, I did some, you know, when it came out, I did see Into the Spider-Verse, so that's like broke my not having seen a superhero movie in quite a while, but that's sort of a different beast.
No, don't die! Don't die! Don't die! Don't die!
What are these strange noises that I'm hearing?
Oh, I'm just
That's
trying
just
not
the
to die.
You never walked
Oh.
in this part of the map
I
before.
thought you were
It's the
having a
ambient.
seizure or something.
Maybe I should change which unit is owned by who.
Oh,
But
maybe-
yes, also the seizure thing.
Nah, not good enough. It was a Bijou instead.
Just a stupid joke, but I love it.
5 minutes.
Oh, I'm
minutes
filled with
remaining.
stupid jokes.
Yeah, that's a Father Xmas type joke.
I'm known at most of the places that I've worked as the person that comes up with like the worst jokes.
Is that why you're finding a new job right now?
I
It
wish
was
I had
an
a story
HR
that
concern.
good. No, actually, my old job that laid me off during when the pandemic started contacted me a few days ago and were like, "Hey, you want your old job back? We'll give you like a third more money than you were getting paid."
Wow, well that's
Oh,
good to hear.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, I'll
happy
take
for
that.
you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, why is my teammate not doing anything? What's going on here?
As long as I can dodge overdoses. Shot.
Ah, shit.
Team eliminated.
It wasn't me
Who
either.
died so quickly? I don't know.
All those creepy noises that I was making. Just acting, bitches.
You know, it's one thing that I realized when I made the World War II maps, I went through Recon and I counted all of the power ups and where they're located, and so like I kind of mimic that on a lot of my World War II maps. Like, okay, there's this many that are scattered around, but if you ever actually stop and look at how they're scattered around, it's utterly it's stupid how they're scattered on Recon.
Units detached. Units detached.
Like, oh yeah, this side of the map has all the heals on it. Stuck on this side of the map and you need a heal. Okay.
Oh, wait, I was supposed to leave. Shit.
Yeah, me too.
Rip brought it up in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, I was unsatisfied. I don't know how we lost. We didn't even kill any of their units.
It was because I was dancing and I was making creepy noises to lure you to try to shoot a unit that didn't matter.
Hey, it worked for me. I was like, nah, damn it, you're not running away from me, you piece of shit. Walked right into that trap.
Yeah, I think we got someone red and then they got away.
See? Hanking a
Team
fucking RPG to the face.
Game over.
I think there was a super vet.
It's like, I'll walk it off.
Nice kill, Jon God. Oh
New
God,
units received.
God, I didn't have enough time to actually leave.
I think the idea is to just like kill somebody and then drop the game.
Yeah.
And then that's how you
World
can
War
escape.
II Battle Royale. There was only one of us left. Speaking of projects I was messing around with, at one point I was, back when it was a big deal, I was making a DayZ style Myth plugin with World War II units.
Okay, nice.
It would take half an hour to walk across the entire map, and everyone would randomly spawn in different places. And there was like some amount of enemies that were around the map.
But yeah, I need to work on round 2 of the Squid Game tournament. I think you guys should have been there. Well, Walter White was there, but that was a pretty fun one. If you're familiar with the show.
I am not.
Okay.
I mean, I know that it exists. That's basically, and that it was a big deal, and that there's people with X's, triangles, and circles on their faces or whatever. That's basically all I know. I only have so much time in the day to do things.
Understood.
I apparently do lots of stuff. Somebody asked me what I was doing recently.
Oh.
I gave this huge laundry list. Oh yeah, actually I do a whole lot of stuff. translating books and making myth content in my spare time. While
Team eliminated.
Oh man, I was.
Game over.
Actually, I think if I shot you in the face, you would have lived. You got a super vet.
I have a 3 vet.
So what do vets do on World War II? I didn't know that
Oh,
vetting
God
mattered.
damn it. I was clicking ready and the game started.
Well, I mean, the thing is though, like, if you
New
left,
units received.
your vet would die. You can't do that to your vet.
That's
Somebody
true.
else gets it this time. Holy cow. Well,
So what does vetting do?
4 times
Oh.
vet.
Mhm.
In my experience, it usually just makes them a bit hardier.
Oh, okay.
It affects stabbing. I don't remember what else.
But yeah, with Squid Game, yeah, no, it's a show that like basically people compete for their life, and so OD created like a fun myth version of that, and I've created a few more puzzles that people could play, but we haven't played it since the first week. But it's not like map making, it's just we play
Really?
maps that already exist, but we just have redefined the rules essentially.
Gotcha. Yeah, that'd be cool to be like, all right, you have to play World War II, but you have to get 5 zooks in your play session. And you have like 1 week to obtain that. And you have to give proof.
Oh no, we do it all in one day, and like
Yeah. So, for example, one of the games was Trow Tag, and I just, I gave everyone like 2 goals, and I put my 2 trow in the middle. I waited for like a minute, and then they just had to like survive for what was it, 6 minutes or something.
yeah.
And I mean, that was it. You just had to not die, and
Complete a map in complete a infection mode and Deadfall.
Don't quit shooting me! I'm the wrong
Be the first
one.
person to complete the entire campaign of Deadfall.
5 minutes remaining.
I will need a heal, mister.
Dab was not on my side. How are you alive?
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. Oh, it's summer.
Oh, it's not. It's spring. Ha ha.
how am I got missing? Okay.
Eliminated. Game over.
All right, I'm satisfied. I'm dropping. I made it.
Get out before it's too late.
Ramp is hilarious. That's a great. For now. I actually have to give you some applause. That was pretty good of just keeping the games going so long, Grip.
Well, I hope to be here tomorrow evening. In the meantime, I bid you all good night.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. And
Absolutely.
good luck with the new job, and hopefully you can squeeze in some World War II heroes on the side. But yeah, I mean,
Hey, I
take it
hope
easy and don't overwork yourself.
That's the plan.
Alrighty.
We hope to
Cheers.
see you tomorrow. Yeah, great job.
Did he leave?
OD? He did, yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now we can talk about how much we hate him. No. No, that was really fun, actually. I really liked all of the different iterations and everything that we were able to kind of experience tonight.